Hello, welcome to Framework. I am Al Schwartz. With me, as usual, is John Bernard.
Good morning. Good morning.
We're here to talk about It, Welcome to Derry, Chapter 1, I guess we decided at the very end.
Yeah.
I know you're a big It fan.
Yes, I'm a big It fan. I think it's great. I love it. I was thinking about this a little bit. This is my Star Wars in a way. This is sort of the foundational text for me in a lot of ways, and I'm such a big dork for this that I'm going to get I'm the kind of person that would get a charge hearing that a character is Richie Togier's mom, for example.
We are of a generation of probably largely white boys that had a real strong Stephen King phase in our teenage years.
Oh, yeah.
And Stephen King is such a widely adapted author, probably the most widely. I mean, there's probably more Stephen King adaptations than Jane Austen adaptations out there. And they vary so wildly from outright classics, several of the best films ever made, and then some all the way down to utter dog shit movie of the week stuff. And
Yep.
I think for a lot of us, there is some sort of white whale of a Stephen King, one of his big epic tomes that we like really desire, like man, that could be the thing, if that could be the best thing ever. And I think for some people, some more compatriots, it's The Stand. And even though I've taken a couple cracks at that, for you, it seems to be It. They've taken a couple cracks at that. For me, it would be The Dark Tower.
Yeah.
They've taken at least one crack at that.
Well,
and it's probably fared the best, right? There's two decent adaptations of it.
Of those properties, no question. Absolutely, Dark Tower and The Stand have been, well, I mean, I can be very mercurial on this sort of thing. Like, you'll be surprised to hear the positive things I have to say about It, Welcome to Derry, probably in this hour. The recent Stand adaptation from 2021, whenever it was, I couldn't finish. I was so mad about it. So I don't know. It's hard to say where I fall exactly on these things, but yeah, they've botched that. Both.
I thought that Stand adaptation just kind of came and went without making a ripple in anybody's pond, but I guess it was really bad. I mean, the Idris Elba Dark Tower one is a real stinker. Like it's in a way I prefer to just being like a 2-star movie where it's like, it had some moments and it's okay, but didn't really make an impact. Like,
must agree, actually. I mean, even that, though, I get a charge from seeing Idris Elba as Roland Deschain. I'm kind of excited by that and activated by that a little bit. I am a person who has idly considered maybe I should have a Dark Tower tattoo a few times in my life. So, like, it's all kind of in me, and I have complicated feelings whenever anyone tries to adapt these.
I'm saying that Dark Tower adaptation is so bad that I don't have to have complicated feelings about it. I can even recognize that, yes, there was a time, when actually Idris Elba as Roland could have been perfect ace casting, and yet they fucked up every other thing about it so epically that it's like, well, it's not like he can't get it to that middle level where it's somehow more disappointing to me. It is just a dog. And I don't know that Welcome to Derry is not that for me, but I did not like this show.
I mean, okay, so this show, it is definitely a continuation of everything going on from the It Chapter 1 and 2 from a few years back, 2017, 2019, respectively, I believe. It is the same creative team, the same cast, I guess, in Skarsgård, and it's
Sophia
the same
Lillis even
world,
too.
the same altered timeline. Yeah. It was funny watching this in Chair Company kind of at the same time, seeing her pop up in that right after I finished watching it. That was fun.
Honestly, the Chair Company has a little bit of It DNA of just like these interludes. Like he goes for these surreal encounters to encounters with kind of horror figures, and he wants them all to be part of the same entity. to be knit together, to be different manifestations of the same, windmill he's tilting at, and you can't quite sew it together. Whereas it's the book does bring it together. It's all the same monster with different faces.
There's certainly a sort of a preternatural dread to many individual sequences in that, including the very finale of Chair Company is as pure a moment from Stephen King's It.
I was thinking of the bit where he goes into the house and finds like the mother on this stack of hoarder magazines moaning, and that's like Beverly going to the, I guess, Madeline Stowe's house. That's what we were connecting those dots. That felt very like a very similar episode.
We've been on a bit of an HBO. We've kind of like really run the gamut on HBO this the back half of this year, man. We did both of those. We did Task. We did Peacemaker, and pretty much everything they're putting out, we're taking a look at.
Yeah, we're packing it in before it gets bought up and destroyed in a year from now.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's all falling apart. It's gonna be bad, I bet.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we'll continue to have Welcome to Derry is getting made, though, is what it sounds like.
Was this a hit?
I think so.
Really?
I haven't seen official things. I mean, the chapter 1 at the end is definitely, it's a called shot, and they could always have not done that. They could have made that decision last week. I suspect there's another one. And it certainly seemed to be discussed online, at least.
Okay. And I guess it is, I mean, the movies were successful, so it is an IP they are interested in drawing more blood from, and...
Right. I think people are watching this.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah. It seems to have gotten more discussion than the first 4 episodes of Stranger Things, which, I presumed would be dominating the conversation at this point, but no one seemed to care about those. I think I hear they're bad. I will get to them in the new year, I suspect.
Oh, okay. I thought I jumped off Stranger Things a few seasons back. I mean, like, whatever it is, 2 seasons and 7 years ago is what it feels like.
I think that's right. Yep.
But it seemed like I was seeing a lot of Stranger Things chatter going on in the last couple weeks.
It is hard to tell. I mean, we are very much in our own curated algorithms, True. And I'm consciously avoiding Stranger Things because I'm not watching it at this point. So who knows? Maybe it's maybe everyone's talking about it, and I'm not. I'm stuck in the horrible Rob Reiner Trump feed on my algorithm, and that's all I hear about. Yeah, that's when we're recording this. The day after.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. But it does, I guess, because I ended watching Stand By Me last night as well. So it's all...
I was going to say, he made one of the all-out classic Stephen King adaptations, although it's the one that people don't... I guess Stand By Me and Shawshank both don't fit with his horror persona, so people might not directly associate them.
You watch Stand By Me now, and it's kind of like this is it without the clown, essentially. This is quite literally this. It's the same childhood reverie. There's versions of at least 3 of the characters in it. Like there's a Bill, there's a Ben, there's a Richie.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's my thing with Welcome to Derry, and it being a prequel. And again, that weird fade in of chapter 1, after having promised us that we're going to go farther back in time to do a sequel that's a prequel to the prequel to the original thing, which was a prequel and a sequel meshed together.
Yeah.
What does. So I don't know. Are we going back to chapter 0 next?
No, I think it's just going to be chapter 2, stupidly.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be as a, and technically though, the way they have crafted this, it will be a sequel because Pennywise apparently experiences time backwards like Merlin, and will be trying to alter the events of the canon that we know happens. Yeah. I was cackling in glee at those final reveals. I thought that was quite funny. A lot of this I found funny, to be honest.
Well, okay, so here's my thing. For the record, I am a big fan of it as well. The book, the original miniseries did. Tim Curry did fuck me up when I was too young to have rented that double clamshell VHS case. And I mean, Pennywise is still a great creature. Bill Skarsgård's incredible in this.
He's so good, man.
Like all the saving grace of this show for me is coming from him mostly, but also conversely, the big problem with the show, with it as a concept, doing it prequel, is that Pennywise does suffer from overexposure.
I would have thought so. I mean, he's barely in the first half of the season. Like he does not show up. And
he eats a shocking number of kids in the very first episode, but not in clown
as Pennywise.
Form. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you don't see the clown for a very long time. I mean, I guess Skarsgård is a bit of a presence, maybe. I don't know. He's playing a silhouette for the most part. I was really surprised to see how much he was utilized in the back half of the season. Like they did the full Bob Gray circus backstory. Mm-hmm. I never expected to see that. I thought they actually kind of nailed that. That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole series, was Bill Skarsgård as Bob Gray.
Yes, that stuff was very good, and because Skarsgård is so good. But again, it's staple to this whole conceit of the Madison Stowe character, which I think is just a really dumb swing to have taken.
I kind of appreciated that. It was insane. It was very chair company, as you say.
True.
But, I found myself shocked to like the final button on the show of finding that character and closing the loop with Beverly from the movies, showing her backstory, something we never saw before, and kind of establishing the old lady who, eagle-eyed viewers would be aware that, yes, that character, Mrs. Kirsch, was the future version of the witch in the modern timeline that attacks Beverly in the house that she grew up in. And seeing that was just she actually saw the person, at a traumatic moment of her life. And so it was kind of, just sort of flapping around in the back of her brain for 30 years. I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of the sort of storytelling that something like this actually should lean into. It actually can do these generational cameos in a way that feels appropriate and not just fan service, because that is what it is. It is about these sort of memories and things coming back around after decades.
Yes.
I said a mouthful there, sorry.
The downside of that, though, that being about the generational cycles, is that at first glance, yes, it does present options for, we just go back 27 years at a time and do, not infinite, but a lot of iterations of this. And there's a story for each time for the cycle. But if that story each cycle is about a group of kids with the special power of friendship, ultimately, defeating him and putting him back to sleep, that deflates Pennywise really fast and makes the, special bond of the Losers Club in the original feel less important and special. And that's sort of, I got there very quick with Welcome to Derry. We're like, what's up with this clown constantly getting foiled by those damn kids? He's becoming a Scooby-Doo villain.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It removes his teeth, which is, kind of crazy because he's got a lot of them.
Yes. Physically, Machete has given him every tooth in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually really curious if they're going to do that 3 seasons in a row. If that's going to be how they tell this story, or what their grander aspirations here are. Because when this show opened, when the season started with this first episode where, they introduced 3 kids and 2 of them plus 1 are murdered by the end of the episode by a monster. And it's kind of a horrific shock. The next few episodes also kind of feel like the narrative is going to be, these kids don't have it together. They do not have that bond of friendship that kept the losers alive in the original story. So they're just going to get picked off. And it's going to be, a dark story of racial animus and child murder, essentially, that, that necessarily has to end with it more or less triumphant. And it was kind of bracing and a little bit like, is this really going to be the meanest piece of it media that's ever been produced? And by the end, clearly no. No, we're off that very much. Yeah.
But the lore, or even like less curious, the basic continuity seems to demand that.
Right. Uh-huh. Well, they're taking some incredibly big swings with the story they're telling here. And, I mean, introducing, telling us that this character is related to Richie Tozier at the end, as I was talking about. That's crazy. And then having Pennywise have a monologue about experiencing time in reverse and maybe trying to kill the characters in the past, like the Terminator, to prevent his future true death, which we now know is canonically the case. So any of this, any of this other shit they're doing is kind of, it's not necessarily important, because we know what the ultimate end of this guy is, except if he's experiencing it in reverse, it still qualifies as a sequel rather than prequel. I mean, there's a lot.
It's not like pure. He's going in reverse like Tenet or something. Or I think it is that he is kind of outside of time. He can kind of look at it from looking forward or looking backward.
But he says something about his birth being his death being his birth.
Yes, and
there will be like him trying to kill the ancestors of characters we already met. I think is the promise. Well, Sarah Connor style.
The thing of Pennywise being outside of time and maybe its death being his birth, that fits very perfectly with the Stephen King mythos overall. I mean, like the end of The Stand with Randall Flagg after he is vaporized by a nuclear bomb, and then it shows being reborn because evil ultimately can only be kept at bay. It can't be outright destroyed. Mm-hmm. So that would be fine. Making it a Terminator scenario, like you said, and making all of the stupid shit with the pillars and the daggers that have to. There are magic
new lore.
And,
there's new stuff to make, new rules and shit that they've come up with for this, and I just don't know what to think about, like the pieces of the meteorite that he arrived in.
They just decided they needed a One Ring 6 episodes into this 8-episode series. Okay, so it is fundamental to its lore that there are these cycles that go back for centuries and all that. I don't know that visiting them actually, that there's too much to be gained from doing that. I think there's more to be lost than gained by doing repeated iterations of all this. Although I do think there was an interesting opportunity that opened up, kind of like you mentioned, that first episode, which did the kind of fake out, like introducing, here's your Losers Club, and now he already ate 3/4 of them. Mm-hmm. And that could have been an interesting pivot into this being a cycle that's not going to focus on the power of friendship between kids, and maybe it's about the adults trying to take the lead on fighting Pennywise, and you can have the adults fail in that, I think, more completely, and kind of get away with it.
I mean, yes, you can. Not what they did, though, but no. They did introduce something so fucking wild and crazy that, it sort of demands that a narrative loop is closed in this cycle, which is the U.S. government is going to utilize Pennywise in its fight against the Russians, or maybe just as a mechanism of population control and fear. That is an outrageous plot. Like that, yes. That is such a big swing that must be dealt with within this cycle.
Also, the stupidest shit that has ever been imagined. It's incredible. I mean, God bless James Remar. He is doing his best.
He sells this so hard, man. Maybe the MVP of the season, honestly. For he a very good actor.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
That is called upon to basically
Bill Skarsgård is still
shit
there.
Into gold. Yeah. I know. That's the better performance.
Like the argument, it's like I want the Super Bowl MVP to go to somebody who's not a quarterback every once in a while, but if you're trying to be serious about measuring who's got the most important player on the field, the game's designed this way.
That's well said. But no, the lifts that he pulls off in this, I was constantly impressed. His death scene, I couldn't believe he sold. Like, he actually managed that in a way that I was like, oh my God, he made that work. Holy shit. This character makes no sense as written. And I'm kind of barring it because it's James Remar.
No, the whole thing makes there's no salvaging it. There's nothing Remar could do with this core concept.
I think the Trump administration might give something like this a shot. So the meter on what I can believe coming from a government institution in film has been moved.
I mean, the idea as originally presented, which is, oh, we're going to capture this eldritch monster from outside of time and drop it on the Ruskies to win the Cold War. Like,
that's dumb fun. I have to admit,
that's very dumb. And then the late season twist that is supposed to, I guess, recontextualize maybe how dumb that is that
it's so much dumber.
Actually, yes, they're not intending to use it on Ruskies. He's going to use it to try and keep his own people in line internally, to try and shut down, I guess, the civil rights movement. Although they never commit to Remar himself seeming actually racist.
Why not? What are we maintaining this character's personality in any way for? He's the villain of your season, essentially.
Right. And it's like, oh, there's the twist, but that doesn't solve the fundamental issue here, which is like, I can buy that the military would want to find a way to weaponize the power of it. Once it had some indication that it could be captured, that they had any control over it whatsoever.
Right.
Like it was like, okay, there's a grease fire in your kitchen, and you're saying, well, but maybe I can harness the power of this grease to throw it on my neighbor's house, to burn my neighbor's house down. And like our Leroy and our heroes are like, yeah, okay, I can kind of see that. Like Dick Halloran's along with that. Right. And then the big twist that turns out was, no, actually, or I wasn't going to use it on the Russians. I was going to use it on my neighbor instead. And they're offended by that. But it's like, the problem is your kitchen is still on fire. Like, you have a monster eating Americans in America that you have you have no control over. And you're getting way out ahead of your skis trying to be like, okay, but once we figure out what this thing is and how to do it, and like, you're 7 steps down the road, like, no, just like, figure out if you can kill it first.
It's not even that dumb. No, it's dumber than that even, because it's not like I'm going to use this on my neighbor. It's like, what if we let this run in the kitchen for a bit longer? Like, what if this got into the living room a little bit? What would happen then? I just want to see this play out.
Yeah. Once we get in the living room, I think we can really make some things happen here, which is, it makes no sense to me. And there's, I don't know what plot beat there could be that would give the military more some overconfidence, but they're getting owned by this thing left and right.
This is classic Pete Hegseth, man. I could see this coming. This could be the plan. Come on, this is exactly the shit we're watching these days.
Oh, no. He would. I think that first and foremost, view this as an opportunity to just use a big bomb. That they're always looking for.
We have to deal with the enemy within, Al. We have to. There's no alternative. We have to let the clown
the monster that's eating people is the enemy within. I guess the idea is that, okay, they figured out the lore with the daggers, and think, well, we can definitely use this. I don't know. I feel like you got to get your arms around this thing a little more before you make your plans about what you're going to do with it down the line. Obviously,
because they're just like, well, let's just break these things. Let's just break these goddamn things, that are holding him back. What if we just destroyed those? See what happens. That's the plan.
They have a real "what's the worst that could happen" attitude to it, and it's like, I don't know. It's like the implications seem to be pretty clear that some really bad shit could happen. Like, it's already. And Remar, of course, has firsthand personal experience with this thing. So him being the outsider who doesn't properly respect its power or something doesn't even make that much sense to me.
They put in the effort to make that's not the case with him.
Right.
He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. It's a bewildering series of choices. I thought it was fun big swings. I have to admit, this entire plot line with the military and using Dick Halloran, who is another contender for MVP. Honestly, Chris Chalk is so fucking good in this show. Like it's that character. It's nuts. He works as well as he does. This is like the big stupid Stephen King nerd kind of thing that I feel like catered to in a dumb way that I'm embarrassed of. But for all that, I have to admit, I'm having a good time here. This is fun for me.
Okay, I'll give it some praise on that front, because Dick Halloran is a character that if you had told me going into the season he was going to be one of the like big supporting characters and we're going to really flesh out his backstory and clashes with it prior to going off to do The Shining, I would say that sounds like a really bad idea. Terrible. Mm-hmm. And like I said, largely on the back of Chris Chalk's performance being so good, that stuff is really well rendered. I guess maybe also because it's not purely it stuff. It's mixing some Shining stuff in. And so it's not diluting the Pennywise well as much. It's doing a slightly different flavor of things than the movies did.
I mean, this is kind of the third version of Stephen King Fargo TV show that they've made at this point. I mean, Castle Rock is explicitly that, which another weird thing for me. I got about 3 episodes into that show and just sort of turned it off in frustration. So I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason for how I respond to these things. I kind of want to give it another shot now, honestly. And then there's the Mike Flanagan Midnight Mass, which is just it feels like Stephen King fanfic, essentially. If you have seen that, it's quite plainly.
But now we're into Stephen King fanfic officially.
Right. Yeah. Midnight Mass is like the 50 Shades of Grey version of it. It's something where they change some of the names around so it's legally distinct. But yeah, this is full on. We can bring in any character from any property at this point, I suppose. I don't know. I think they'll probably have to stop doing that as much in future seasons. He's not got a lot of 1930s set stories to draw from.
Well, but we still also, I mean, if they want to get really ambitious, they could be going forward and backward in time. In the way, I
suppose they could.
In the way that the original, book and movies do, but with a greater gap between them. It's not, the kids as kids and the kids as adults. It's the grandparents, and then you're jumping forward, I don't know, even past the 2017 one. I guess you have to get pretty far forward to get, was it 20? When is the Andy Muschietti movie set?
In 2017, I'm pretty sure.
2017. Okay, so you'd have to get into the 2040s, I guess, for the next iteration to roll around. Although,
and he is, I mean, by the text of this show, died the true death.
Yeah, But we're messing with timelines. You could mess up they
do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah,
clearly.
Obviously, they're not constrained by logic too much here. One thing that I don't think they squared off, though, with the military at the end is they had a major U.S. military operation going here for months and months that resulted in the mysterious but grotesquely violent murders of many U.S. airmen, up to and including a general in charge of this project. And now the U.S. government, in the continuity of this story, is just going to back off and say, leave well enough alone there and just kind of forget about it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. That's
I mean, I get the sense that this was a sort of off the books a little bit, this whole operation. But
I think it's too big for that.
You're right. There are, dozens, if not hundreds, of servicemen involved in this. So yeah, there's a whole base. It's a whole operation. I don't mind them not explaining how that got brushed under the rug. I don't necessarily think it would have been the worst thing if maybe Mike Hanlon's dad or Will Hanlon's dad has to go to a military court at the end. Maybe he's got to spend some time in jail, and that's why the family stays in Derry. I don't know. That wouldn't have bothered me, but at the same time, I'm kind of just like, you just want to be like, wipe your hands, and be like, okay. And everything worked out in the end. That's the sort of shorthand I don't necessarily mind because, whatever. I mean, it would be nice if there were some dark consequences in this story, but that's just not the kind of way Muschietti approaches this.
It is strange because there is so much darkness to the actual things that are depicted in this story that those kids really got torn to pieces throughout, and the black spot thing happened, and
oh boy, that yeah.
But you're right, it does kind of feel like the show wants to put a feel good button on everything in a way that I'm not sure jives with that. And honestly, maybe just a little bit more shoe leather with the U.S. government, perhaps like could be using what happened with the black spot as kind of its cover story for, say, the powers that be maybe know that there's a monster situation going on, but they just want to put the lid back on it, and they are using it as an excuse like, oh, we did sort of an experimentation with integrating the military more up in Derry there, and it went really badly, and now we're pulling back we're closing down the Air Force Base, for example, because the black spot thing was so terrible. We're reevaluating everything, and they're putting down, all of its crimes to the racist clash there.
Right.
There could have been something there, maybe. I don't know, but I would have liked.
Probably should have been.
Yeah,
that would have been an elegant way of getting themselves out of it. That would have been smart. Yeah.
And scapegoating Hanlon, maybe to a degree. I don't know. Okay.
Wouldn't have minded. Yep.
Here's another problem I have with the show. Mm-hmm. I think it looks bad a lot of the time. Right.
Sometimes it looks good.
Yes.
But sometimes it looks bad.
I like those Bob Gray flashbacks. I think those look good. The Pennywise himself always looks really good. There's sometimes the green screen, every time they're up on the standpipe in their clubhouse, and I'm just looking out like, why this looks like the background on a planet in The Mandalorian to me. And I think it's actually really important for Derry to feel like a real place.
Can't argue with this. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. There's those scenes at the top of the standpipe. It couldn't look more like a green screen. It is like a negative problem, like a real big issue that I think does make this show feel smaller, especially since they keep coming back there. It's an important location.
It is.
Find the location, put the green screen outside or something. But if it's, I guess that's kind of what they're doing. But the cyclorama is bad here. It looks like shit, and I don't know why. It shouldn't look that way.
I thought they had kind of solved this problem years ago. I not solved it entirely, but like it looked better than this.
Mandalorian at least has like alien landscapes. This is a small American town that we're supposed to be seeing,
and which
we know what it looks like
is available as a setting. Stand By Me. That's a movie that existed 40 years ago, and you just filmed some trees. Like it's not that. I guess we're in this world of now. This is our present dystopia, that we're in the AI world where the powers that be have sunk so much goddamn money into technology that is not all that useful in a lot of cases, but we have to pretend it's useful. I mean, like, another thing I was griping about recently is I keep seeing these commercials for ChatGPT. They're weirdly hilarious to me because it's like, oh, look out what ChatGPT can do. You want to be able to do pull-ups. It can help you design your workout. And I'm like, yeah, because, my main, like, the thing that's always been holding me back with exercising regularly is the brainstorming process is too hard to figure out how to, like, a push-up.
I should do push-ups.
Thanks, Alexa.
And then pull-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yes.
And the other one is, Google, I want to make my dinner for my date, but I don't want it to be too hard. And he goes, how about pasta? I'm like, oh. it's like the most incredible technology ever that just manifests as your dumbest friend giving the simplest advice. Anyway, the point of it, I guess that there's a feeling we have to use this technology rather than just go outside and put a camera on some trees, because the technology exists. We've spent money on it already. And
it's so frustrating. You say Stand By Me. I, of course, watched it last night, and the value add of the locations in that film cannot be overstated. You know, it draws you right into childhood, seeing like just an outdoor area. It's like it has
a treehouse.
It summons
made of wood.
The vibe. Yeah, it's a real treehouse in that movie. Yes, and because of that, it gives you a tactile relationship to it, and you're just like, I remember being in a treehouse. You certainly don't. This standpipe doesn't put you in mind of being anywhere. Because it's a void. It's it's a place you've never been. Some sort of computer space that doesn't exist.
And I mean, you have the whole sequence in the graveyard earlier in the season that looks like something like Ghostbusters 2. It just looks terrible, but you almost like go, okay, this is an effects scene that you kind of give them one maybe of that. And then the entire finale is in this snow filter put over the screen, which just looks terrible, and nobody looks like they're actually like in the snow. Nobody looks like cold. Nobody looks wet. It's just this blur, like white mesh put over things. And I don't know. Like, I feel like we've made movies in the snow before. Empire Strikes Back was doing effects work with, but felt like real snow around the Tauntaun.
There's something about the finale that I thought looked okay. I hear you, and they certainly don't seem like they're out in the snow or wet. But I don't know. There is sort of the void space that they're in there. At least is supposed to be a void space, and the novel It certainly has some void spaces where action takes place in as well. So,
but they're not doing surreal ritual of Chud stuff. They're actually taking a rock and have to physically bury it under a physical tree at a particular tree, lest the I don't know. I can't even like aware. That. That actress did her damnedest to belch all that stuff out in a way that
the earth is a conductor for the power of these rocks. Yes, of course.
Ah, man.
This sort of shit does appear in Stephen King books. Usually not the better ones, but like there's certainly a lot of Stephen King books that end with this sort of sequence. Dreamcatcher was the one I was specifically reminded of.
Yes, the Tommyknockers, the bad ones.
Yes, yeah. That's kind of... But at least it is the same tone as some of those things.
Okay, yes, I can't knock it for being out of the tone. I just think mechanically it's not very good. Some things that are good.
It's better than the end of the second It movie. I'll put it that way.
I don't know.
And it has well, that's with the spider and the they bully him to death. That's how they kill Pennywise. I always remember they bully him.
Yeah, that's thematically on point though.
Sort of. He's also a CGI spider.
Well, he's a CGI wyvern in this by the end, and
he is.
They beat him with the power of friendship, allowing their murdered child friend, his ghost, to help them push the rock into the socket to close the portal.
Yep.
I don't know, like that. I'm not going to argue about that. I'd say that's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other, as far as which one this was better.
Fair enough. There's this finale is full of interesting imagery and ideas that are activating to me. That's the thing. Like activation, I guess, is the thing I'm after all the time. But the Pied Piper stuff with the other kids and the deadlights, all that stuff, I'm kind of just like, I'm feeling this a little bit. Like the opening is I was cackling during the opening at the school.
Oh yes, the ventriloquist thing with the principal. All the good stuff in the finale is the Pennywise stuff to me. Like that.
Oh, he's terrific in it.
And I just love the way that, of course, like he's a magical shape-shifting clown, and just making him like, oh, he's a lot larger in this one than I'm used to, because he has moved himself up for the scale of the principal being a ventriloquist puppet. But like that. I like when he comes out of his bloodbath. He's just blood red from the nose down.
Yeah,
I loved
neat.
him skipping across the ice to like kill the kids
It's a
at
good
the end.
visual, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that he's still got that. He hasn't lost the joy in his work. Even as I'm losing some joy in his work over repetition.
well, Skarsgård really is bringing it. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about some people that were good in this, but it's quite obvious that he's the main event here, and his stuff all just works. He has such a handle on this as a character, which is it's the kind of character no one really plays.
Well, he transitions from the feral animal portrayal to the sadistic serial killer clown stuff so well. It's not just that he can do both, it's that he can sort of flip from one to the other within the frame. I don't know that was in Tim Curry's bag exactly. I mean, maybe just because they didn't have the effects to help him the way they do with Skarsgård. But
Tim Curry is honestly, I mean, obviously the performance is excellent and iconic and famous and effective for a reason, but he definitely he doesn't seem to be playing any sort of extra dimensional. His approach appears to be like
clown.
Yeah, so it's evil clown, right? Okay, I can do that. And Skarsgård is approaching this very differently, which is the right way to go. Something very different. And I'm very entertained by it. Even the Madeline Stowe character, which problems, but his big scene with her, he's so good. It's so funny and so interesting what he's doing. And where seems to think it's still her dad in there, and he's doing that. Oh, I don't know. I think I ate him. All that stuff is really great. It's just neat and constantly interesting work from him. And yeah, as he amps up as the season goes, that's only to its benefit, obviously.
And then the scene in the finale where Halloran is trying to hoodwink him with the shine, and he's in the Pennywise is the one in the hallucination, and he is actually playing sort of, at least briefly, scared and confused there. Is maybe stuff that Tim Curry didn't ever get to play, but goddamn, Skarsgård's good. He's a very very good actor.
Turning into one of our great monster guys, man. Between he's Nosferatu, and he's such a chameleon. It's easy to kind of forget he's both those characters and many other weird ones as well. Like he's quite the guy at this point.
And then you remember in Barbarian where he plays just a normal, cool guy, and does that very well. But kind of because it's him, you're off. You're scared from the start about what Penny is going to drop.
Yep, one of the greats right now. There'll be more, I'm sure. He's making very deliberate career choices.
So I guess we're going to get more of this now.
Yeah, I think so. I would put money on it at this point. Nothing official been announced, but they seemed happy with it, and it seemed to be at the top of my my social feeds all the time. So that's the metric I'm going with because I don't know. It's so hard to track what's actually successful, but at the minimum, this is franchise extension at this point. On the other hand, who knows what's going on with HBO, man?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is we're also in a time when it takes 3 years to make another of these seasons, and by then everything can be different.
If it ends here, if it were to end here, I mean, well, I know. I guess is it even fair to expect this to be telling a complete story of some kind? It seems to be so insane what they're doing that does it matter? Is there really a plan here? I mean, it seems like there's a plan.
It does seem like they're really selling that there's a plan here. And it's one that I can't possibly, I'm not getting my hopes up for that at all. Because it's like, well, one, I've seen the type of plans you had within this season with Remar or Madeline Stowe or whoever. I'm like, I don't think this really holds up to any scrutiny. So this big Terminator swing you're taking, I'm not expecting that to pan out either. I mean, to me, listen, this is the thing. It is kind of a masterpiece, but it's also a complete story. It's very sprawling in its original form. And technically, yes, there have been these other cycles that you could depict, but they're all you start with the one that's the most important and the final one, and all the others are a lesser version of that in some way, to my mind. So I don't know that it is the way to expand the Stephen King brand. Like I said, even though that makes so much sense in some ways, the movies were the successful ones, but I don't know. It is the way into the larger Stephen King universe. I think The Dark Tower is the way to do that, really.
Well, I mean, you don't have to sell me on that, obviously. I was surprised that the purchase they found here with including Halloran, who is, of course, in the book, but in the larger capacity he was used here, I thought worked incredibly well. And I don't know how much of this stuff they can continue to pull, but all these characters are Stephen King-ish types, I'm really interested to see how they're going to represent Derry in the 1930s. I mean, the only real signpost we have is the Bradley gang, but that's a good sequence of the book. And what this season allowed them to do that was so cool was they got to do the Derry interlude stuff from the novel in some fashion, like the Black Spot, which is obviously stuff that you have to excise from an adaptation of the novel because it doesn't involve the main characters. So
right.
It allowed them to kind of adapt unadaptable material from that book in a surprising, unusual way, perhaps. But it's good grist for the mill. If they actually can do something there, and there is more material in the book that they can do. There's some things they can pull from or be inspired by to hopefully create new insane bullshit like the U.S. government wants to use Pennywise against the Russians. If they come at it with that sort of energy, I'm certainly game for more. I had fun with this stupidity. I did.
All right. Well, and a scant 3 years, you might have another shot.
Here's the thing I would wish, though, for a season 2. This is the most important thing that I think I would like to see them do. A downer ending. Do an Empire Strikes Back now. Give Pennywise a W for the next season. Remind us how dark this shit can be. That's what I think they need to do in a next season.
I think that's kind of likely because even if your only thing is crass brand extension, allowing it to go back farther in time and pull off its Terminator thing allows you to also then have him reborn prior to 2045 or whenever the next cycle would be.
Good.
And then you can do more present day seasons or whatever, or movies. Again, I don't know how many times you can go back to this well, but if that's your intent on doing, I think you do have to let Pennywise kind of win at his current goal.
Just see what happens, Obviously, if you break things, that so what? Who cares? The movies already exist. But yeah, ultimately, this all does kind of mean there will not be, at least within the next decade or two, and this was already true, honestly, after the Skarsgård films were such hits. We will not get our Lord of the Rings adaptation of it. We're not going to get the masterpiece. Not of this one, at least. I mean, The Stand, I guess, could happen. The Dark Tower could happen, but I think it's off the table for decades, at least in any other iteration than the Machete version.
Yeah, I think that's true. It's whatever you think of it, it's been successful enough that you're not going to go to reboot it as immediately as after The Amazing Spider-Man or whatever.
You're going to just do this sort of thing. You're going to do these odd prequel series and stuff like that. I don't know how you can use this character in any other context. It seems like they're going to get every drop of juice out of the stone, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can enjoy it or not, and so far I'm enjoying it, even as I can certainly point at the ways that it is silly. There may be no way to do this story that's not very silly.
Right.
And there are still really good sequences. The pickle jar monster in early on, I thought was excellent stuff. The Muschietti is not incapable of crafting good monster sequences. He's done it in the movies. He's did it in the show.
Oh, I like the eye stalk and the shop glass stuff.
Yeah, totally.
That was kind of gnarly to me. Well, I'm glad you got something out of this. Yeah.
Look, I can't make the argument that this was awesome and perfect, but I got something out of it, no question. I mean, I don't know. We could go on about how weirdly they handled the black spot. There's so many things that we could talk about, but yeah, I think we can put a button on this for now. And yeah, when this show comes back, got to see it. Got to see how they handled the Kitchener Ironworks. Although I guess that would be chapter 3 technically. Hopefully more weird Stephen King lore shit to come, though. Maybe the Flanagan Dark Tower series will finally happen if this was successful enough. So a rising tide raises all boats.
Okay, there's my positive spin on this. If this is successful, even though I don't like it very much, it might get the Flanagan Dark Tower thing rolling. That's actually achieve liftoff. That could be a positive.
All right, there we go. And thank you for listening. Please rate and review the podcast on the app or provider of your choice, as we are reminding ourselves to say. And I don't know, more of this shit next year. What's next on HBO? When's the Night of the Seven Kingdoms happening, man?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll check it out when it does.